I am going to be sharing my story throughout this presentation, and hopefully you can just bear with me as I sprinkle myself throughout this. But I completely changed my health about 2 years ago. And I want to show you where I was. Hopefully, there's not going to be too much light here, but this is where I was. I was absolutely exhausted. I was craving food all day long. I was 100 pounds overweight. I was pre-diabetic. I was on 9 different medications. I had high cholesterol. And quite frankly, I was just at my absolute wit's end. And I found tools that truly gave me my life back. And because of that, I had no other reason that I needed to share my story. And it's really cool because not only do I have this health, um, I've been given my life back through my health, but I now get to help other people do that. And I get to make money while I'm doing it. It almost just feels like too good to be true. But I really was in such a dark place. And now I always say it like I'm older than I ever have been. But I am active. I am present with my family. I have energy like coming out, just oozing out of my body. And it is because I learned about metabolic health and I found these amazing tools. And I'm going to continue to share my story with you. So I'm going to share my screen right now. And this might just take a moment here. So, oh, that was quick. I think that worked really fast. Okay, let me make sure you guys can see my screen. Everything good? Okay,
It's still, there it goes. Yep.
perfect. Okay, so I am going to jump right in here and I'm going to talk a little bit about insulin resistance. And some of you may know about insulin resistance and some of you may not. But I'm going to tell you something that most of you may not know. And that is most metabolic health disorders, chronic diseases are tied to insulin resistance. And this is the root cause of these issues. Unfortunately, as a society, we tend to focus on managing the symptoms of insulin resistance, but not getting to the actual root cause. So I would love it if you would look at this screen and I want you to start thinking, looking at this chart, I want you to start thinking, how many people do you personally know that are affected with these issues, that deal day in and day out with these symptoms? Because I would suspect that it is pretty high, the number of people that you personally know. So I'm going to go through a couple of these, and mainly the ones that I personally had, and just going to explain a little bit more about them. So first of all, obesity, right? I said that I was 100 pounds overweight. 1 in 4 Americans are dealing with obesity. My issue was I went to all the best doctors, I feel like, in the world, and nobody could explain why I was gaining weight. All they did was give me a medication that would hopefully help me lose weight. I would walk out the door, go to get my prescription filled, and still struggle with the weight gain. Fatty liver. Fatty liver has become an issue. It has actually become an issue with teenagers and children, right? This is directly tied to metabolic health. Blood sugar control, right? So blood sugar control. There are over 100 million Americans who are dealing with prediabetes and type 2 diabetes in the US alone, right? That was me. I was diagnosed with prediabetes. And what was I given? I was given a medication and sent on my way. When you think of someone who gets migraines, right? You go to the doctor, they prescribe you something. Are we seeing the theme here that is happening? The symptoms are being managed. There are band-aids being put on these symptoms, but the root cause is being ignored. Heart disease. Heart disease is the #1 killer in the US. Statin medications are also the #1 prescribed medication, but yet heart disease is on the rise. When we just medicate the problem, we are still not getting to the root. PCOS. PCOS was something I personally was diagnosed with at the age of 23. What happened? I was given a medication and sent on my way. But PCOS really is just insulin resistance of the ovaries. So this issue of insulin resistance is widespread and it is affecting so many people. So while you're thinking about this, I want you to think of if you were to go to a family reunion, how many people at that family reunion are dealing with one or more of these issues? And if it's you, it's okay because you are not alone. There was a study done recently that has said that 93% of people are dealing with bad or damaged metabolic health, right? So that means 7% of people are doing good, American adults. If you were to walk into a classroom of 100 students and 93% of them were struggling or failing, would you blame the student? Or would you look at the teacher, the institution, figure out what's going on, what's being taught, what systemic problem are we dealing with, right? You would. And if you sit there and think, okay, 9 out of 10 people, I don't know if I believe this lady. Like, really? 9 out of 10 people? I want to tell you that insulin resistance is sneaky. It is absolutely sneaky. You can be dealing with symptoms of insulin resistance 10 to 15 years before you get an actual diagnosis. And when you start to think of how many people do you know are struggling with anxiety and depression, right? Directly tied to gut health. How many people do you know are starting to have a thickening of their waist circumference? Like all of a sudden, they're eating all the same foods, they're exercising the same way they always have been, but their waist is just getting larger. How many people are dealing with eczema, psoriasis, adult acne, these skin issues that are all linked to insulin resistance? IBS, right? You can't walk into a Walmart and see that someone's struggling with IBS, but that is part of this problem. There's also people that we all know that just have a problem pushing the plate away. That was me. I literally snacked all day long. I grazed, I grabbed because I was truly hungry. I could not push that plate away, right? And so we have a solution. When you are looking at a business of any type, right, you need to be thinking, is there a big enough problem that enough people have that I could help? And this is where I get super fired up because there are millions of people who need help. There are millions of people looking for a solution. And I'm here to tell you, we have the solution. So our solution, the Feel Great system, has 5 patents on it. Okay, it cannot be copied. This is not something that you can walk into CVS and grab. 5 different patents on it. There's also been clinical studies done on this solution, right? We have studies that have been done at the Cleveland Clinic, one of the top heart hospitals in the world, and I'll talk about that in just a second. We also have studies done at the University of Sydney, which is the home of the glycemic index. We have learned so much about blood sugar and what certain foods do to our blood sugar from the University of Sydney. UNLV, BYU, Stanford, so many clinical studies that proves the efficacy of this solution. Our solution is also guaranteed. So what is really amazing about that is you have a 90-day money back guarantee. So you can use these products for 90 days. If you do not see measurable results, you can get your money back. And what I love is that an A1C is a reading and it is a 90-day reading. So you could get an A1C reading done. You could use these products for 90 days, and then you could get another A1C reading done, and you're going to see what this can do to your A1C. It's pretty awesome. It's also cost neutral. And I'm going to explain that in just a second, how it's cost neutral, what that looks like, and how you can even save money by using these products. They're also in 50 different countries. And that is really cool because if I live in California, which is where I live, and I moved to Germany tomorrow, I could still get these products and they would be the same and they would help me all the same. So this is our solution. This is the Unicity Feel Great system. And most of you or a lot of you are probably already using the Feel Great system. Will you put in the chat if you have never used the Feel Great system? I want to know what that looks like and who in here has never used it. But I would assume most of you have maybe used it or you have heard of it. So I'm going to just quickly kind of go through what this looks like and what these products are doing. So they're two products. When you purchase them, you are going to get a 30-day supply. So 1 month's worth of is what you're going to need. And how this is cost neutral. I'm going to explain that to you right now. So when we use these supplements, we are going to use one called Unimate, right? Unimate, we say, is willpower in a packet. You are going to have steady, focused energy. This chlorogenic acid tea is going to help sensitize your body to insulin. And when you wake up in the morning, we're going to do a little bit of light intermittent fasting. We're going to cut out some snacks and we are going to skip breakfast and we are going to sip on this Unimate. Now, I also want you to tell me in the chat, if you were to skip breakfast or if you were to cut out some snacks, how much money do you think you would be saving if you were to do that? What would that look like for you? How much money, right? Just put that in the chat for me. I want to see what you guys say. But we are going to take that money that we have saved from skipping breakfast and from cutting snacks, but people saying $15 daily, $10 daily, lots, right? Breakfast and snacks, at least $15. But let's say that we save about $5 to $10 a day, right? We are going to take those $5 to $10 a day and we are going to put that toward this $159 a month, right? So these are drinks that you are going to drink every day. So I talked about the Unimate, what the Unimate does, the balance, that is our fiber matrix. The balance is going to help with blood glucose control. The balance is going to help lower your cholesterol. It's going to help with gut health. You're going to drink these 3 drinks. I say it all the time. You just drink the drinks. You're going to drink these 3 drinks every day. You're going to take that $5 to $10. You're going to put it toward the $159 a month. And you are going to be saving money. I have somebody on here that just said, I was shocked how much money I save, over $200 a month on groceries. That is real life. You also can use your FSA and HSA funds to purchase the Feel Great system. So it is a win-win, okay? So we're taking that $5 to $10, we're putting it toward the $159 a month. Now, I want to go into a little bit more in depth, some of the studies that have been done on these 2 supplements. So the first one is a study that was done on the Unimate. Remember, that's the chlorogenic acid tea that you're sipping on when you're not eating. When you sip on this tea in a fasted state, you are going to increase your body's own production of the GLP-1 hormone, okay? We hear a lot, GLP-1, it's kind of a buzzword right now. We hear a lot about the synthetic version of GLP-1. We hear a lot about the weight loss injections, right? And the difference with the Unimate is it is helping your body produce its own. It's increasing its own production, but it's also safe and natural for long-term use. That was really important to me as somebody that was on 9 different medications. I was always kind of worried, like, oh, are these safe? I'm not sure. I definitely knew they were not natural. So this is something that is safe, natural. You can use it long-term. It's going to help your liver function more properly. It's going to help you get rid of oxidative stress at a lower rate. It's going to help your fat cells shrink while you are sipping on it. And it's going to help enhance muscle mass. People can work out longer. They have more endurance. They can lift heavier weights. It's incredible. And you're going to take that twice a day. The next study that was done on our balance, okay? This is our fiber supplement. This study included people having a waffle breakfast. So they had some waffles, some syrup, some orange juice. We don't recommend that, right? But what happened when these people took this balance, this fiber supplement before their meal, is there was a 34 to 37% reduction in their post-meal glucose spike. Now, I said I took metformin. I took it for 20 years. Metformin reduced those glucose spikes by about 25 to 30% on a good day. So this is working better for me than metformin did. Metformin landed me at 24 years old getting a colonoscopy because of my digestive issues that I was having. So it is absolutely safe. It is natural. So when you take this balance, it's not only helping with your blood glucose control, it has different types of fibers and they're all doing different things. So one is going to help lower cholesterol, your triglycerides specifically. One is going to help feed and fertilize our gut microbiome. We're strengthening our gut health, which is going to help with inflammation. It's going to help with autoimmune diseases. It's going to help with mental health. It's going to help with your skin health. That is a pretty fantastic solution. So because these products have been clinically studied, their efficacy has been proven, they are in something called the PDR. The PDR is the physician's desk reference. So you might be thinking, well, I don't know. Do I need to ask my doctor? Can I use these? What's going on? You can take these supplements. You can take them to your doctor. They can look them up. They can see, okay, this is what's going to happen. These are some, okay, no side effects. Okay, yeah, try it. Let me know what happens. Earlier, I said that the balance was studied at the Cleveland Clinic. And I want to get into what the Cleveland Clinic said about this. But first, I want to tell you a quick little story. I was hosting a science call a couple months ago, and we have these weekly science calls that I will also talk about in a minute. But what happens is I'm sitting there, I'm talking, and I just kind of flippantly say like, oh yeah, and it was studied at the Cleveland Clinic, top heart hospital in the world. And the neurosurgeon that was on the call with me, he was clearly doing all the medical side of the call. He said, Katie, hold on. Do you realize what you just said? You just said that the top heart hospital in the world did a study on this supplement. And I was like, yeah, no, I did. I probably shouldn't skim over that. But he was like, that is such a big deal. And this is what the Cleveland Clinic said. The Cleveland Clinic said that such a product, if taken regularly, could reduce cardiovascular risk on a population basis and potentially decrease the need and or dose for lipid-lowering prescription drugs. Let's think about that. What an amazing statement, but also a very threatening statement if you are selling statin medications, right? Probably the reason why most of us did not hear about this study that was done. So what happens next? I have a few testimonials from people, real life people who have used the Feel Great system. And while I'm telling you about these testimonials, I would love it if you could pop in the chat and you could just tell me if you have used the Feel Great system or you are currently using the Feel Great system. Will you tell me what has happened for you? While you're typing those, I want to talk about Catherine. Here is Catherine. She had a shoulder injury and she was looking into the benefits of fasting, but needed some help. And not only did these products help her, they changed so much for her. She was able to reverse her prediabetes. She now fasts with ease. She is down 52 pounds. She also told me that her husband lowered his A1C from 9.4 to 6.2 in under 90 days. Okay, real life. This is Nate. Okay, Nate, his wife Melissa started using these products, and it took him a little bit of time, but he followed suit. And what happened when Nate followed suit was he did something pretty phenomenal. He was able to reverse his type 2 diabetes, taking his A1C from a 13.8 to a 5.9. That is pre-diabetic ranges, right? He also lost 89 pounds, which is absolutely phenomenal. Side effect, right? And he has no more gout. This is my friend Yolanda, and look at that smile on her face. I love this picture so much. But Yolanda used a different gut health system for over 12 years, and she said she continually failed at fasting. She did lots of calorie counting and tons of restriction. She now has lost 28 pounds. She's also lost her migraines. She's no longer mindlessly snacking. She always talks about she had this pretzel addiction where she was just constantly snacking on pretzels all day long. She has no more joint pain and her eczema is gone. So pretty awesome, right? Catherine right here says, that is me. I'm now down 57 pounds. Amazing. Vanessa says gut healed, no more yeast infections, joint inflammation and gone, and pain from RA mostly gone, no more brain fog, lots of energy. There are so many comments, I can't even keep up with them. They were just coming in and in. Misty says 62 pounds off blood pressure medications and antidepressants after 30 years. reverse neuropathy, no more chronic pain, no more inflammation. She said, I feel better than I did in my 30s. And that's what Yolanda said. Yolanda here is 63. She said, I feel better than I did in my 50s. So pretty phenomenal results. I love that I get to be a part of something that is so wholesome, that is helping people live their lives again, because that was my problem. I don't want to say I'd stopped living, but gosh, I was in such a dark place. I feel like an absolute different person. So most of you are here not to hear about the success stories, but you're here to hear a little bit more about the business, what this looks like. And this to me is something I had never seen before. I'd never seen anything like it. It is better than affiliate marketing. It is better than network marketing. It is better than franchising, but it has components of all of these things. And if you are someone, especially if you are a natural sharer, if you like to help people, this is going to be absolutely perfect for you. And let me kind of explain why. So when you refer customers, right? Anybody who has ever purchased the Feel Great system is going to have their own link. And so you have that as a customer, you have that as a partner. But as a customer, when somebody uses your link, you are going to get $10 in product credits every single time you refer someone. As a partner, which is what I am, when somebody uses my link, I'm going to get $20 to $25 residual income every single time they purchase, every single order, right? Normally, when you have an affiliate link, you might get paid the first time somebody orders, maybe the second time, but not every single time. This, every single time somebody orders, you are going to get paid that $20 to $25, right? So this is this digital tag. Like I said, if I'm in California one day and in Germany the next day, whoever referred me is going to get paid, right? Now, this is what the question I want you to ask yourself, right? You can get paid $10 in product credit for being a customer and referring your friends, or you can get paid $20 to $25 in cash if you are a partner. So I'm going to kind of go over this really quickly in a really simple illustration and show you the difference, right? So say this is you and you refer the Feel Great system to your friend Bob. You send Bob your link, you're a partner, so you're going to make $25 every single time Bob orders. Now, Bob decides to share this with his wife, Sue. And awesome. Bob's a customer. He gets $10 in product credit from Sue's order. But guess what? You are going to get $25 in cash from Sue's order because you got this party started, right? Now, Sue, turns out, Sue is an absolute social butterfly. She tells Joe, she tells Jen. So all of a sudden, Sue is getting $10 in product credit from Joe. She's getting $10 in product credit from Jen. But you, as the partner, are getting $25 from Joe and $25 from Jen in cash. It's pretty awesome. And we love it when customers refer, right? It's wonderful. They get rewarded, but I get paid. And that is the difference. Okay. So this is where it gets so good. You are paid for every ongoing order. Like I said, $20 to $25. Now, I want to just paint a quick little picture for you because there is no limit here. So if you have 10 customers, you're going to get paid $250. If you have 100 customers, you're going to get paid $2,500. If you have 1,000 customers, you're going to get paid $25,000. So once again, that question I want you to ask, would I rather get paid double the money in cash or just keep the coupons? Just keep the $10 in product credit. So we are super confident that we can help you get 10 customers, right? If you have just 10 customers, because sometimes looking at these numbers, you're like, okay, 1,000 customers, come on. What's this girl saying, right? 100 customers, I don't even know 100 people. But I promise you, with social media, with just opening up your circle, you're going to find people. But let's say you just have 10 customers. That's going to look like you're going to get $250 every single month. That means your product is going to be free. It's going to be paid for, and you're going to get an extra $100. So if you're just even looking to pay less for your monthly product, this could work for you. The best part about this, I say it all the time, is you are going to get paid to improve people's health, to improve people's quality of life. It is the most wholesome, beautiful thing I have ever done. So this is a little picture of a back office. So when you become a partner, you're going to have access to a bunch of different information. You're going to have access to who orders, how many times they've ordered, how many people they've referred, right? Because you might be looking at this going, you know, she's a social butterfly. I want to talk to her, and I'm going to explain why in a minute you would want to talk to her. You're also going to get to see where people are ordering from. The first time I jumped into my back office, admittedly, it was not right away. I didn't even know how to get into it. But once I got into it, I was like, wait a second, Spain? Somebody ordered from Spain? Somebody ordered from Germany, Canada, the UK, all over the world. People were ordering through my digital link. Amazing. So just to be clear, there are two different ways that you can get paid here, okay? One is going to be referring customers, okay? That's the affiliate side of it. You have your link, you share it, every time they purchase, you get paid, great. Unlimited residual income. But the second way that you can make money and get paid doing this is by referring partners. And this is the networking part of it, the franchising part of it. And it's actually my favorite part. And full disclosure, when I first started doing this, I had zero, and when I say zero, I mean zero interest in building a team and referring partners. I just thought, nope, I have my link, I'm going to send it to people, great. But the reality is, and this is the beauty of this part of the business, is that each and every one of you on this call know people that we don't know. And you have influence over people that we don't have influence over. You have leverage that I don't have. And we can't reach everybody on our own. So we are looking for partners to share this amazing protocol that we have and help people. That is why you are on this call, right? And you might be sitting here, even on this call, thinking, well, you know what? I do actually know a few people that would be really good at this. Maybe you know someone who's in the health space. Maybe you know someone who owns a gym. Maybe you know a trainer. Maybe you know someone that's just a natural sharer, right? You might have someone who is just become a walking billboard for you. But this is the coolest part about this. I love people. And so what this has done for me is this has connected me to more people. I get to talk, I get to share, I get to teach. And the best part about this is that the company is going to pay me, because remember, I'm getting this party started, you'd be getting this party started. They're going to pay you $5 to $10 every single time one of your customer orders. And that is where this gets good. Now, because remember I said this is like a franchise, and this is kind of how. I want you to think of if you were to go buy a Starbucks franchise, right? First of all, you'd pay, I don't know, an undisclosed amount of money to purchase a Starbucks franchise, right? But you own the franchise, and you would get the money that comes into that little franchise, right? But you would give a portion to Starbucks corporate, because Starbucks corporate is going to give you all of their recipes. They're going to give you their secrets. They're going to explain to you how to do this, show you exactly what you will do. That is the exact same thing here. We will show you how to do this. We will hold your hand. We will give you our secret recipes. We will give you our winning formulas, because we have a vested interest in you being excellent at this. And we want you to be excellent at this. We want you to win, because when you win, we win. Right? And so this is the best part though, right? You don't have to do this if you don't want to, because it's your business. You get to do however you choose to do this. I wish that I would have started sooner referring partners, because this is where it really gets good. So, like I said, you get to choose this. So you may be on this call and you may want to make $250 a month. We can help you do that. You may be sitting here going, okay, wait, I actually want to make $5,000 a month. We can help you do that. You want to make $50,000 a month? We have people on our team making that much and more. So truly, when I say we will walk with you if you want to walk, we will run with you if you want to run, we will help you in any way, shape, or form, but you get to choose what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. Now, I want to be very clear about something else as well. You have to put the work in. This is not something that you're just going to sit back on your phone and money is going to start rolling in, right? We know that you need to put in at least 5 to 10 hours a week, minimum, right? Now, I told you kind of my story. I am a hairstylist and I now do this part-time. I have now been able to replace my income of being a hairstylist. But I want to show you how I got there and the difference between some transactional income and what I do now. So most people are either employed or they're self-employed. And what that really means, I was self-employed, it means I was trading time for money, right? That was it. As a hairstylist, it was very transactional. If I did your hair, I would get paid. If I did not do your hair, I did not get paid, right? So if my son is home sick, right, I don't get paid. The problem with this is that there's only so much time in the day. And I really was working myself into the ground. So my health was suffering. I could only work so hard for so long. Most people in this category are going to have a boss. Most people in this category are going to have a schedule. And so you have limits. There's only so much you can do, right? You can only work so hard for so long. So there's some people that say, okay, I don't want to do that. I'm going to own my own business. I'm going to start my own big business. And what that's going to look like is it's going to look like a lot of stress. It's going to look like overhead. It's going to look like HR issues. It's going to look like a lot of liability and a lot of red tape, right? Manufacturing, carrying inventory, all those things. But this is where I have landed and it has changed everything for me. Okay. First of all, these are all the things that you are not going to have to worry about. You're not going to have to worry about employees. There's nothing legal that you need to figure out. There's no shipping. There's no overhead. There's no inventory. Hallelujah. I don't want to deal with inventory, right? There's no liability. There's no HR issues. There's no boss because you are your own boss. And because of that, there is no schedule. So you get to choose what that looks like for you, right? If you want to work 5 hours a week, 1 day a week, go for it. If you want to work 2 to 3 hours a day, go for it. If you want to work full time, sounds great. But you get to choose how you do this business. The best part for me, though, is there is no limit. And this really fires me up because I am hopeful that I am headed into retiring from doing hair. I really want to be retired by the end of the year. And because of this business model and the huge problem that the world has and the solution that I have found, I'm going to do it. And like I said, I've matched, I should say, my income from doing hair. And like Dr. Kenny said, I do this in the nooks and crannies of my life. I do this at night. I wake up early in the morning, I do it. I do it while I'm sitting at cheer practice in the car. I've got my computer out. And I make calls. I fit it into my life, but I do it on my terms as well, right? But the best part I think about my story is I am not a unicorn. I am not anyone special. I am not the only person winning at this. And I truly believe it is because we know how to do this and we will help you do this. This is the actual dream zone, right? It's pretty fantastic. So, if you have 10 people that you could think of that could be your customers, this is an absolute no-brainer. And this is how it works. We call it a business in a box. So you are going to pay $1,549 and you're going to get a bunch of things thrown at you that are well worth more than $1,549. But you are first going to get 10 Feel Great kits, right? You're going to get these sets, which right there is a $1,700 value. And when you do that, it's also going to unlock that link, your partner link that now earns you up to $25 per order. With those 10 kits, we are going to help you. You want to build stories. We're going to help you build stories immediately. I became a story for Brittany, who introduced me to the Feel Great system. I became a walking billboard for her. And that's what we want to help you do with those 10 sets. You're also going to get mentoring and tools, and we'll dive a little bit deeper into that. But those alone, the mentoring we give you on the products, the business mentoring, the social media mentoring, it is absolutely unbelievable. So this is it. I'm wrapping up here, but this is a success formula. We're going to ask you that you use the product, right? Because I became a product of the product. I became that walking billboard. We want you to better your health. At the end of the day, if you can better your own health, what you can do for others is going to be magnified 10x, right? So we want you to use the product. We want to help you get 10 plus customers, but 10 customers, right? And then we want to help you duplicate with other partners. And that right there is the magic formula. And if you want to supercharge it, you're going to add social media into the mix. And that's it. Truly, this is where everything comes together. If there's any questions, put them in the chat. I know I am a chatty lady. I could chat all day long. So put your questions in the chat.